waving demands for retribution after the recent ISIS-perpetrated massacres in Paris. In a piece of reporting that would be extremely unlikely to appear in any mainstream newspaper, Ryan Devereaux wrote for The Intercept, "As France bombs ISIS, civilians caught in the middle." The article drew attention to the mounting pile of bodies resulting from the bombing sorties flown across Syria's skies by the Assad regime, by Russia, and by the US, Eric McDavid, luring him into a bomb plot. The method in this case was to use a paid female informant to seduce McDavid and then promise him a relationship. US media that The Intercept routinely embarrasses. The Sunday Times was recently embarrassed enough by an Intercept story about its feeble journalism on the Snowden case, wherein it groundlessly alleged that Snowden's files had been shown to the Russian and Chinese governments, that it demanded the image accompanying the story of the Times front page headline to be taken down on copyright grounds. And the advantage of his program is that the 40-minute length circumvents the usual requirement for concision, allowing complex issues to be discussed. And this occasionally does allow interesting ideas to be heard. And occasionally, as in his interview with Larry David, his guest is interesting enough to force him to be better than he is. It's striking then that Rose is such a force for orthodoxy. For example, in a celebratory piece written for Fortune magazine titled "Why Business Loves Charlie Rose," it is noted that the show was the major program where business leaders had a chance to talk about the economic crisis after the credit crunch. It also noted in passing that Rose's most frequent guest was the New York Times columnist Tom Friedman, who's been on the show 65 times. Those who are familiar with Friedman's distinctive blend of business apologia, pro-war and pro-Israeli sentiment, not failing to mention the absurd Nobel Peace Prize he received, having bombed both Vietnam and Cambodia and played a decisive role in the Chilean military coup. Of course, Rose mentions none of that and nothing that would stink of controversy. With such an ingratiating introduction, Rose adds warmly,
"I am pleased to have Henry Kissinger back at this table. Welcome. It's good to see you."
Good to be here.
He asks no adversarial questions, offering only polite inquiries to Kissinger to expand on his humdrum academic ideas.
This idea of order has permeated your academic, public, post-public life. It has been this concept of that you seem to have be at the core of how you see the world.
That Kissinger might have more pressing questions to answer, for example, before a